Yahuwah said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and the which is the fruit of the tree, yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and
I
to
stop
every
it.
beast of the earth.
I was finna say before you talk about the beast, but we just saw the prescribed diet when Adam and Hawa was created. They first little commandment or dietary law. This is the real dietary law, not Leviticus 11. That ain't no dietary law. That's the dietary law that we got from the hardness of our hearts, and we're gonna read about that. But Genesis 1:29 is the prescribed diet for humankind. Fruits. This is why we walk upright and got fingers so we can peel. We can grab fruit off trees and peel it. You ain't made like no carnivore. You don't go in nature and see no animal cooking no doggone meat. If you really a meat eater, you gonna eat it just like the meat eaters eat. You feel what I'm saying? You made to eat fruits. But read that verse 30 because you got a dietary law for animals too.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so.
So boom, check this out. It was a point in time where even animals were plant-based. And we gonna read about how they become plant-based again in the new kingdom. Now what happened was when sin entered into the earth and the fall of mankind happened, fallen watchers and fallen angels came down and taught men how to kill animals and sacrifice them. Not only that, after they sacrificed them, they turned around and ate them. But to clean up all the death that was going on earth, animals had to start eating. You see what I'm saying? That's when vultures started coming down, eating up carcasses, swine and pigs. You feel what I'm saying? Now, what our goal is, we trying to get back to our Edenic state. If you want to be angelic or go to the celestial courts, you need to be eating celestial, angelic food, the things that was created for you, not death. We choosing life out here. So everybody know and aware of that prescribed diet. Now, if we go to Malachi 3 and 6, it said that the Most High never changed, right, y'all? So, if the Most High never changed, according to Malachi 3 and 6, that means whenever we got all these other laws in regards to putting animals in our mouth, who did that? Because the Most High must not did it if he already gave us a prescribed diet. These are contradictions that we got to deal with in scripture and stop being scary, y'all. But check this out. We can read a little bit about animals in Isaiah 11 and verse 6. Go to Isaiah 11 verse 6. We're going to run down on it real quick. We don't spend too much time on Isaiah. Keep in mind, just to smack your lips on any flesh, it required death. Remember, in our Torah, it say, thou shalt not kill. A lot of people think that just apply to killing humans. But guess what? If we go to the book of Adam and Eve, you see how the Cain and Abel story was reversed, y'all. It sounded different from the Torah. It said that Cain was the one that gave a sacrifice that the Most High didn't want, and it was an animal. But this is how he mustered up himself to kill another human. Just like every serial killer. You check into their story. They was killing squirrels and rats and cats all in their neighborhood and dogs before they mustered up themselves to kill a human. This the same spirit that a lot of our Levitical priests were dealing with. They were catching many goat bodies and many sheep bodies. You feel what I'm saying? Very demonic on the slick. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. We not gonna get too deep into this study unless y'all want to, but that even doing sacrifices that was taught to mankind by fallen angels. The Most High never wanted us to be killing no animals. How we worshiping him with blood on our hands and blood in our mouth. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But show that. Yeah, but look, Isaiah, let them go to read 6 through 9, and we're going to be very brief on this one.
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them, and the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the ass, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the chicken's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy. Keep going.
Go ahead. Yeah.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahuwah as the waters covers the sea.
All right, boom, because it takes real knowledge to actually cultivate plants and not be having your mind thinking on killing no animal to eat. You feel what I'm saying? This is the qualities of the kingdom. Isaiah 11, you feel me? Show you the qualities of the kingdom. Them animals that normally would be in opposition with each other and be trying to kill each other and eat each other, they will not be having them characteristics in the kingdom. No violence gonna be going on. But people think they're gonna be doing sacrifices. I'm telling y'all, sacrifices were falsely scribed into the Torah, into the Tanakh. That's Jeremiah 8 and 8. Jeremiah was dealing with the same people. And I can show you all the prophets speaking against the Levitical priesthood doing sacrifices. Because that was $1 billion industry back then, y'all. They were getting buku money. You feel me? Off of them doggone sacrifices. And that was the whole trick of the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna read my notes real quick. So it say our commune with Elohim isn't face to face anymore. We commune in temples, which is our body, y'all. So who controls the way we think? After Elohim created us, the Most High gave us instructions on what to eat. That was Genesis 1:29. When sin came in, death came about. Animals began to eat meat to clean up the earth, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. If we go to Genesis, go back to Bereshit, chapter 3, verse 22. Genesis 3 and 22. Genesis 3 and 22. The name of the game. Hey, shout out to Ben Ami, the elder from Chicago that led our people to Israel, the Mona. Hey, he was trying to teach us how to perpetuate our lives, but a lot of Israel ain't paying attention. A lot of Israel end up started paying attention more to Abba Bivens that came up in the 80s. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all, Ben Ami had the sauce. No cap, Celeste. Genesis 3 and 22. You feel me? This is what's going on in the kingdom.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh yeah.
When I first came into the truth, it's been about 2 years, almost 2 years now for me. So not too long, but when I was first introduced, the brother who introduced me, he be going to the Muna and stuff, you know, like he kind of went under Ben Ami's teachings and stuff. So I was like, wow, like these people like eat the way I eat, and like, you know, like this is cool. Like it was my first introduction. But then once I got into the world, I was like, wait, they don't all eat like this. I was so surprised. I was like, wait, I thought we was doing the set apart thing. Like, what's going on?
I'm glad you got an introduction like that, because I came up under the influence of ISUBK and IUIC, and that's a whole different world. Can't lie. Hey, but by the time I started fooling around with people who was affiliated with Ben Ami, boy, I started to realize, like, hey, Ben Ami were really giving us the sauce of what the kingdom is. You know what I'm saying? And just like the documentary Village of Peace, you can see it on them. You see what I'm saying? So check this out. A lot of people think that we gotta die to go to heaven. Ben Ami was trying to show it. No, it's real. It's real right now. You know what I'm saying? We gotta create these environments, and this is what the Torah is about. But look, read Genesis 3 and 22 real quick, guys.
And Yahuwah Elohim said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also the tree of life and eat and live forever.
Notice how the tree of life gonna make us eat and live forever. It was in the garden, y'all, but it's gonna be in the kingdom too. Let's go to Revelation 22 and read that. Ain't no animals there that was gonna make us live forever, y'all.
Oh man. Revelation 22.
Yeah. No cap, Jay.
Starting at verse 1.
Yeah, we should do it from the top. Let's see where I'm going.
And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads.
My bad. That's all I wanted. I wanted the first few scriptures just to show that same tree of life gonna be in the new kingdom. So whatever we had access to in the garden, which is why I keep saying we need to go back to Eden. We need to go back to how we was meant to be in the Garden of Eden, where the Shemayim and the earth had met each other. That was the middle ground. So this is, if we see these same characteristics and qualities in the new kingdom, then as we saw in the Garden of Eden, what that mean? We really need to be paying attention to how we supposed to be back then. But now what we dealing with is the fall in Washington taught us how to remember what I was talking about in earlier bills when we were talking about the reptilian brain, the mammal brain, or which is the limbic brain, and then we go to the neocortex. But in the reptilian brain, it only care about earthly, fleshly things and lustful things like eating and shoot freaking. So get what? We're gonna go to Philippians 3:19 real quick. Let's go to Philippians 3:19. Let's show how what our bellies have become to us. And this gonna explain why every feast days, it's always hard to find Philippians. Okay, I got it. Well, this gonna explain how every feast day we see our Hebrew brothers, you feel me, turned up. They drunk as a fool and slamming flesh and animals and lamb down their throat. You feel what I'm saying? Ooh. Getting stupid full of meat, bro. And this will be going over at Passover. This what they want you to do. You told them you're plant-based. They gonna ask you about some Passover lamb. But we gonna get into that too. Because Passover lamb, ain't nobody need to be eating on no Passover lamb. That ain't required of you in the Passover, but we gonna show this in scripture. Philippians 3:19, let's get on that real quick.
Whose end is destruction, whose Elohim is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things.
So what about the Passover lamb? You feel me? They minding earthly things. We gotta understand these high days is bigger than what we be thinking is about on some real. We come together and we finna get drunk and eat some food. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really understand the sincerity of what's going on in regards to these high days. Everything that the Most High gave us. But notice how in Philippians 3:19 it said that their gods is their bellies. We done made idols out of our stomachs. You see me? That's why every time you go on, you turn on TV, you got stupid food commercials that over sexualizing things. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about from. Notice how super sexual and lustful these food commercials is. They put on that freaky talk sound voice like he sweat. You know what I'm talking about? They got the food glistening and all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but anyway, check this out. We ain't got to go here, but y'all put in here. We can talk about Genesis 27, 1 through 29. Remember, Isaac got distracted when blessing his sons, but what had distracted him? It was that venison. Notice also that Isaac was going blind. One of the main things, what happened when you get cataracts is because you eat too much flesh. This scientifically proven. Ask your doctors. You eat a lot of animal flesh, like venison and stuff like that. What Isaac said he loved, you just start to develop cataracts, and this is what he had going on. It's like a film in your eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's like cooking an egg. You see? Yeah, B mama, how she doing here? That's good. Right, the mucus, Celeste, you right, the mucus. So now, because of the uric acid, you know what I'm saying? Your hydrochloric acid in your stomach can't break this down. So now next thing you know, your lymphatic system doing everything it can to try to calm them acids down. Now you developing mucus and all kind of stuff. It's just a defense system trying to help you. But at the end game, if you got too much of it, it's hurting you. You getting cataracts like Isaac had. And that was in Genesis 27, 1 through 29. You're right, so less inflammation. They're right. The mucus trying to cover up the inflammation. So get what? Y'all remember also in Genesis 25, 29 through 34. Who else made a bad decision on food? Esau. Remember, he sold his birthright because he couldn't control his appetite. Matter of fact, no, we can read that one. Genesis 25. Genesis 25, 29. He couldn't control his appetite.
Verse 29.
Yep.
And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. And
Notice how I said
Jacob
red pottage, y'all. It said red pottage, but then you're going to understand that was lentils. But go ahead.
And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?" And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
All right, boom.
Then,
so based off of, oh my bad. Listen, that's all I need. Listen, based off of what we just read, on his appetite, he had no regards for something that he should have had regards for. Based off of his appetite, you see what I'm saying? If we're gonna see an ongoing thing with these next few scriptures, every time we read a scripture, every time sin come in, it always happened during either a feast or people was eating too much. You feel me? Food leads destruction. Remember, Philippians 3:19, they made their gods their gods their belly, or vice versa. Their belly is their God. So these next few scriptures, we finna show how food, appetite, lust, and hunger lead to destruction. Let's go to Exodus 32 real quick.
and I just laughed when it said, when Esau was like, "I'm about to die," because he told us he's hungry and everything. But I can imagine that it was probably just a day that he went without food, from working and everything. That's how you know it's like lust, and the spirit of gluttony, where you feel like you have to eat all the time. You don't have to eat all the time.
Oh yeah.
Where are we going?
I said Exodus 32, but you know what? I don't think I want to run down on it like that. Basically, the sum of that, because for the sake of time, I'm going to try to run through scripture. Exodus 32 was talking about the children of Israel. It was showing another example of them getting full. They got so full and turned up. Every time they did that, they woke up and did another sin. You see what I'm saying? So on my notes, I got sin is usually relation to eating, feasting, and sacrifices. Sacrifice, every time they were doing the sacrifice, sometimes they woke up and did something stupid. But we finna read examples of that. I just want to run over that one because that ain't gonna hit as heavy as the next ones. Let's go to number 25. Trying to fast track this thing, y'all, but we gonna still get it in.
Starting at verse 1.
Yeah, from the top real quick. Let's get down to verse 3. This is another example.
And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto the devil, and the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Israel.
So how did they join themselves into that? They joined themselves into that by communion with these people. Communion as in sitting down and eating with these people. They were doing sacrifices. So when people think that sacrifices is of our culture for real, and I turn around and I can show, you feel me, by a lot of scriptures how the Most High don't want us doing sacrifice. We learned sacrifice from the cultures around us. We can see here Moab was one of the cultures that we learned how to do sacrificing from. And I know people are going to be like, where's the sacrifice unto the Most High? You feel me? It's a specific one. Well, if it's like that, I'm going to hold you to that. Then, if I hold you to that it's a specific way to sacrifice to the Most High, and in every other way it's sacrifices to the devils, I'm going to show you how you shouldn't be eating animals to this day. You shouldn't be buying animals in the Walmart. You shouldn't be going to Publix buying no animals and come cooking it on your stove. You feel what I'm saying? Because according to the Torah, that thing wasn't rightfully killed and sacrificed to the Most High. If it wasn't sacrificed to the Most High, it was sacrificed to the devils. And this is what James told the people not to do. The disciples, the apostles, they weren't fooling around with that. You feel me? Speak on it, Celeste.
And just you saying that, how you were saying, like, I'm gonna hold you to that. Like, I feel like people in this walk should be, of course, we should be holding ourselves accountable, because at the end of the day, like, it's our walk. but we should be used to our brothers and sisters holding us accountable too. You know what I'm saying? Not looking at it as something like, dang, they judging me, or dang, they getting on me. Like, no, we want just how the Father wants the best for us. Like, we're an extension of him. We want the best for each other as well. But people got to get out of their wounded selves, their wounded egos, and just live in just what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. And like my brother Terry say, it better for us to chastise each other before the Most High get their hands on that. Because by the time the spirit realm get their hands on you, it's gonna be something totally worse. You feel me? Shoot. Hey, Daniel chapter 5 real quick. Let's run through this. Daniel chapter 5. We finna talk about this king that was turned up until he had a death sentence on him. You feel me? Partying and eating food, man, getting yourself full is a big distraction. This is why we have so many doggone food lessons going on in America. The sad diet, standard American diet. You feel me? They put food less all in front of our faces for a reason. The more we eat, the more distracted we become. And the more we participate in sitting at the table with demons. Yes, sir. Daniel chapter 5.
Belshazzar the king made a great feast to the thousands of his masters, and drank wine before the thousand. Belshazzar
my bad. I was saying Belshazzar, he already turned up. He drunk and he full of food. What they be doing on these feast days, y'all? Anyway, keep going.
Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple, the house of Yahuwah, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the idols of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, and of wood, and of stone.
How y'all think they were praising them guys? Remember, Amanda was talking about the fallen watchers. They hide themselves in certain elements and metals, and you feel me? So you got the gold, you got silver, brass, iron, wood, and the stone. So they went down talking about, oh, I praise you, God, and gold and this and that, but they were having self-glorification for it. That's why I kind of stopped wearing jewelry, y'all. You feel me? Because I don't want to be glorifying certain metals and stuff, but that's a whole nother topic. Reverse 5.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another.
Get what? Hold on real quick. It said his knees started shaking. That boy was scared. I don't know if y'all were being like at a party and you stupid high and you start getting paranoid. I already know how he felt. Hey, just like Malachi said, the boy was shaking like a naked newborn. Go ahead.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his masters were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his masters, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in your kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy idols, holy gods, and in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the idols was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams and showing of hard sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation.
So stop real quick, just to catch everybody up to speed, boy. They was at their party, they were getting drunk, and they were full of food. So now the king, he gets sad because he see that writing on the wall. Now he tripping out. Now he need Daniel to come in and interpret. But go ahead, 13.
Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which art the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I've heard of thee that thou can make the interpretation and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou can read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the Most High Elohim gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he slew, and whom he kept alive, and whom he set up, and whom he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with the grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High Elohim ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. And thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against Yahuwah, the master of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy masters, thy wives and thy concubines, have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the idols of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know. And Elohim, in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, have thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written.
Don't read it.
Oh, don't read. Okay. This is the interpretation of the thing. Elohim have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Thou art weighed in balances and art found wanting. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and make a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old.
All right, so boom. With all that being said, I just had to read the whole chapter. This boy was turned up all that night, y'all. And because of him being drunk and full of these foods that he was eating, he was so distracted that he started defiling temple artifacts and furniture. Now he had a whole death sentence on him by some spiritual being writing on the wall, and had him tripping out, y'all. But notice how Daniel was involved with that. Y'all understand? Daniel did not eat none of the meat of the king, right? Let's read Daniel chapter 1 real quick. We just gonna get a couple verses out of that, 8 through 16. Daniel chapter 1, y'all. And then get what? We're gonna get into something. Cause Daniel and them 3 Hebrew boys, they ain't fooled around with none of that flesh the kings offer. Look, the reason why I say this right here, check this out. Certain places and certain people, you're not supposed to be eating with anyway. There was a prophet in the scripture that he was not supposed to eat in a certain place that he went to go prophesy with. He ended up getting tricked to eating in that certain place, and the Most High ended up sending lions after him, and he got killed. All right. Another situation, right? It just slipped my mind, y'all. But check this out. Y'all notice in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 25, Paul said that you can eat whatever you want in the shambles or with any king, but just don't ask no question for conscience sake. Do y'all think Paul said that out of righteousness, or was that unrighteous that he said that? But check this out.
I believe unrighteous, because we ain't supposed to eat the food of idols, so you gotta know what you eat.
Right. So it's certain things of listen. Woo, that's a whole nother topic, and I was gonna talk to Shakir about this earlier. That's crazy because I asked Shakir earlier before we went into a meeting that was talking about Paul, because Paul was already on my mind. I understand it's respect to the Paul, because he's still our brother, but I do know Paul was in opposition to our apostles, and he was in opposition to our the people that the Most High left behind. The reason why we got a lot of Paul writings to this day is because Paul was in good standing with the Roman Catholic Church, y'all. You feel what I'm saying? And they had the liberty upheld to eating whatever they want, and they, you know what I'm saying? They was like, to hell with what the apostles offering with they legalistic Jewish laws and circumcision and this and that. You know what I'm saying?
And look, that made me think of the scripture. It says, "Be not ignorant of no small thing," or something like that. It's in the Apocrypha.
Yes, sir. And look, I was gonna go there. That's crazy. Yes, sir. Right, Amaya. Paul. I think he did eat meat, but I do know James the Just, Jacob Hasodiq, and the other apostles, they did not put flesh in their mouth. Yeshua did not eat a lamb on Passover. Although, when you go to the gospel, it say that they prepared a Passover. When you go to the Aramaic gospel, he told Judas Iscariot that they weren't gonna partake in no lamb because he was the lamb. And you right, they keep saying that Yeshua ate fish. Well, check this out. Remember, he was out there. He made them. He created loaves of bread and fish, like abundance of. In the Aramaic original gospel, it said that was clusters of grapes and bread, and then it go into the prophecy about the new wine, the vine. You know what I'm saying? About the grapes. One thing you got to think about though, if they was out there on the side of a mountain, you feel me? And they got buku fish that just popped up out of nowhere. Did they have barbecue grills out there to grill that fish up, or they ate them raw? Them Negroes was out there eating sushi, y'all. You feel me? Listen, fish,
it had to have been grapes.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I wish everybody had the gospel in Nazareth. Those Aramaic gospel, we can read that. But it definitely was grapes, and I'm just saying, it wasn't no fish out there. Fish was a symbolic Christian thing, a Christian symbolic. You feel me? This from the Dagon fallen watchers and so-called Anunnakis. And yes, sir. We can get into all that too. Hey, anybody got anything to say before we read Daniel 1 and then jump on to the next one? I bet. Let's do Daniel 1, 8 through 16. Run down on it real quick. You there, Ira?
Yeah, sorry. Daniel 1.
8 through 16. And then, hey, matter of fact, ask your question real quick, Mike. Let me see. I can't fully read.
Yeah, I had a question about what you mentioned with the precepts, about them the apostles referring to
the Oh, I was talking about in the Gospel of Nazarene, when we can read what really happened there, what transpired.
Oh, okay.
Compared to the KJV don't actually say that they ate a lamb, but they said that they was there at the time that the Passover was killed or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I do have documentation. We got all the proof and the facts that Yahusha them, they was called Nazarenes, and they grew up under a Essene template. In the Ebonites, these people were known for not partaking in no temple sacrifice. They were known for not putting any flesh in their body. You know what I'm saying? They were known for fasting a lot. So I highly doubt that Yahusha ate any doggone lamb, especially if he said in that moment in the Gospel Nazarene that he was the lamb. But that's a whole nother topic, and this we're gonna require us to really go into it. We're gonna get into it though. Daniel chapter 1 real quick, y'all. 8 through 16, all right.
But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portions of the king's meat, nor the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now
Stop real quick. Daniel said he wasn't going to defile himself with the king meat, because you can defile yourself by eating flesh. Now meat don't mean flesh. Meat just mean food, period. But we know that he was talking about flesh. You know what I'm saying? Because remember Genesis 1:29 said the fruit gonna be your meat. Meat just mean food. But check this out. We're gonna read later on about how the priests during the time of the Maccabees, when they was out in the wilderness, when the temple was being when they had pigs sacrificing on the temple, they only ate vegetables because they said they didn't want to defile themselves. While they was out there in that wilderness, they knew if they was gonna eat any cow, that was gonna be called them defiling themselves. But this same thing Daniel just said, he wasn't gonna defile himself with the king's meat. But look, verse 9 real quick, all right?
Now Elohim had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my master the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he seek your faces worse the children which are of your sort? Then shall he make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee. It means vegetables, is that what he said?
Yeah. Pulse mean vegetable. Go ahead.
Okay. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee in the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and thou seest deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Keep going.
16.
Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse.
Hallelujah. So them boys got what they wanted. They ain't want to be taking eating no doggone the king's meat. They talking about it flesh. They ain't want to be eating things because it was sacrificed to idols. And they ain't even had no ask no question if it was sacrificed to idols or not. Now check this out. Again, like I said, 1 Corinthians 10-25, when Paul told you, or no, he told the Corinthians, because he wasn't writing no letter to us. He wrote a letter to the Corinthians. When he said, do not ask questions when you sitting with people to eat meat and when you buy meat out the markets, he said, don't ask questions for conscience sake. What kind of wickedness was he talking about? When we supposed to be inquiring, when we supposed to be looking at the bread, when we go in the store, make sure there ain't no mono and diglyceride on it, y'all. You feel me? Hey.
Yeah. Y'all know I started getting like deep into the ingredients a couple years ago. And I remember when I first started being like the ingredient police, telling people like, hey, like that has this in it, that has that in it. Somebody gonna tell me like you're doing too much. Like you gotta use your wisdom in situations like that. Like I gotta eat. And I'm like, what? Like stuff like that kind of discouraged me at the time, like being new in this walk, because I had the zeal and I was like, ready to put down anything for the Father. And then, if I'm trying to correct my brothers and my sisters and they like, oh, well, it's all right for me to eat this. Like, it was so discouraging at the time, because I'm like, is this a game to you? They're like, don't ask questions.
Man.
Send a list I'm gonna send in a group chat a list of things that's like ingredients with pork in it, like enzymes, lecture.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm at the point, that's what I says. I'm at the point where like we need to just stop eating processed and packaged foods in general. Like put it all in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's not pork in it, if it's not, beef extract in it, then it's a a chemical, yellow 5, red 7, thymine money trade, like all that crazy stuff, citric acid. Put it all in the trash.
That's right. We is doggone Essene Nazarite Ebionites and Nazarites and Nazarenes, you feel what I'm saying? We just like John the Baptist. We need to be out here away from Babylon and eating simple. They say he only ate honey and locusts. But do y'all understand John the Baptist wasn't eating no locust animal? It's a such thing as a locust tree. Go look that up. That's the sap off a locust tree. He was eating honey and locust sap. You see what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Look, very fast. We're going to be very brief on this. Matthew chapter 4. Let's run through this. 1 through 4.
Matthew chapter 4.
Yep. Let's get it from the top real quick.
Then was Yahusha led up by the Ruach into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the son of Elohim, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Elohim.
Then the devil tempted him. Stop real quick. I just wanted to show them a couple verses because that was the first temptation that Yahusha had when the devil was tempting him, y'all. It was about food consumption. Because food consumption, if you don't have regards and you have no discretion in regards to what you put in you or when you need to be eating or not, then you already eliminated yourself. You already don't have the discipline to control yourself for any other thing. It first starts with food. And also to correct your sin, it starts with food too. So to start sin, it start with food. To correct your sin, it start with food. You see what I'm saying, y'all? Matter of fact, what was the first sin that was in the garden? It was about consumption.
Eating that tree.
That's right. So check this out. What did the Most High give us in the wilderness, y'all?
Manna.
Boom, let's read that. Let's go to Psalm 78. Let's see what that we had to recall.
And while we go there too, they call sprouted coconut manna too. Like when you open a coconut that's been sprouted, it's like this fluffy, kind of like bready texture that's really filling. And they call that manna.
Uh-oh. I need to see about that. See what
I
that
know, that
manna
sounds
is.
so good. I know. Oh, we gotta get back to Florida.
Don't care. Hey,
where we at? Psalm 78.
Psalm 78, verse 24, one liner.
And he had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven.
Wait, read 25 too.
Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full.
What do meat mean, y'all?
Food.
It mean food. It don't mean animal flesh. So we see here how anything that wasn't basically the manna, it was not animals, but it's considered angelic food. The same thing that he gave us in the garden. It was not animals that he gave us when he prescribed us humankind a diet. It was fruits and vegetables, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he gave us in the wilderness. What did our forefathers say? They said, no, my boy, we don't want this manna. Give us that flesh that we were eating in Egypt. Let's go read that, y'all. Numbers chapter 11. And see what happened after they asked for that flesh that they had in Egypt. Numbers chapter 11.
What was that? I forgot to put it in the chat. What was the one in Matthew that we went to?
That was Matthew chapter 4, verse 1 through 4.
Okay.
And we're in Numbers 11.
Yeah. Y'all do know, first of all, real quick, y'all do understand how the scriptures say that the Most High, he give you over to y'all sin? Y'all ever heard that before?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so if you own some stuff like, bro, man, you know, I really want to do this, he'll give you up to worship the host of heaven, like one scripture say, here, let you go ahead. All right, well, go ahead. I told you to don't do it, so let's see what happens. You see what I'm saying? When I allow you to do it. But we finna see this instant right here in Numbers 11. Read it from the top, all right?
And when the people complained, it displeased Yahuwah, and Yahuwah heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yahuwah burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moshe, and when Moshe had prayed unto Yahuwah, the fire was quenched, and he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of Yahuwah burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Mitzrayim freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes.
That's how Negroes feel when we tell them that according to the law, which we ain't even read yet, we ain't even get to the meat and potatoes of what I'm trying to show y'all yet. When I tell Negroes that if you really trying to be a righteous Hebrew Israelite, that you shouldn't be eating on flesh, they be like, bro, y'all trying to take everything from us. Like, they think it's a bad, but you got thousands of different plants you can eat. You only got about 4 or 5 different animals you can put your mouth on, and them things dead on the, they nasty. You really don't want to eat no animal, but you got to cut it into bite sizes where it's not recognizable. You feel what I'm saying? Right. So bros really don't want to eat no animal, but they sweeping down. But you ain't got no meat on that plate. Where you getting your protein from? Turn around and ask them what protein is. They can't explain what it is. So then you ask them, why you trying to tell me to eat some protein and you don't even know what protein is? Right. The real sauce is amino acids. You feel what I'm saying? Protein is too complex for your body to digest. But
and they're not even getting their fiber in. And even like water soluble fibers too, you can forget that in their type of diet.
That's right. See, get what? That's why I like y'all, because y'all some real nutritionists up in here, bro. For sure that. Hey, let's do it. Verse 6 or wherever we were. Oh no, verse 7.
And the manna was of a, who is this? Sorry, y'all. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of, how you say that?
I don't know, Delium.
Delium? And the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar and baked it in pans and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moshe heard the people weep around it. Moshe heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent, and the anger of Yahuwah was kindled greatly. Moshe also was displeased. And Moshe said unto Yahuwah, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight, that thou layest the burden of all this people upon me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I begotten them, that thou shouldest say unto me, carry them in thy bosom, as a nurse and father beareth the suckling child, unto the land which thou swearest unto their fathers? Whence should I have flesh to give unto all these people? For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if thou deal thus with me, kill me. Dang, I pray thee out of hand, if I have found favor in thy sight, and let me not see my wretchedness.
So real quick, so notice how emotionally attached they are to their flesh. Like they really making it hard for Polish Shemaiah. You see what I'm saying? About some animals that they want to put their mouth on that they learned in Egypt. So the Most High, he was winking at us all these times when we were eating flesh, but then when he wake you up to take that flesh out of your diet and you don't hearken to it, once you know it, you owe it, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to come a time when you realize, oh, I don't need to be eating these animals. Right now, we're in a so-called spiritual wilderness. The Most High giving us manna. You feel me? He giving us his word to show us that we don't need these animals. We don't need what we think we be needing. Donuts and Krispy Kreme and this and that. You feel what I'm saying? But now we in that time now. But our people like, nah, bro. You feel me? Hard for us to let Egypt go, or hard for us to let United States Corporation go. But go ahead.
And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, or I need to start saying his Hebrew name, Shemaiah, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. And I will come down and talk with thee there, and I will take of the spirit which is upon thee, and I will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear it not thyself alone. And say thou unto the people, sanctify yourselves against the morrow, and you shall eat flesh. For you have wept in the ears of Yahuwah, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Mitzrayim. Therefore Yahuwah will give you flesh, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month. Yeah, have a blast. But even a whole month until it come out of your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that you have despised Yahuwah, which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Mitzrayim? And Shemaiah said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou hast said, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? And Yahuwah said unto Shemaiah, is Yahuwah's hand waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. And Shemaiah went out and told the people the words of Yahuwah, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahuwah came down in a cloud, and spake unto him, and took of the spirit that was upon him, and gave unto him 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. But there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out into the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Shemaiah and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Shemaiah, one of his young men, answered and said, my master Shemaiah forbid them. And Shemaiah said unto him, enviest thou for my sake? With Elohim, that all Yahuwah's people were prophets, that Yahuwah would put his spirit upon them. And Shemaiah got him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from Yahuwah, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, as it were a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day, and all that night, and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all about broad from themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, it was chewed. The wrath of Yahuwah was kindled against the people, and Yahuwah smote the people with a very great plague. And he called the name of that place What? Because there they buried the people that lusted, and the people journeyed from Kibra unto Hazeroth, and abode at Hazeroth.
So
AJ,
yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Wait, that the latter verse where it said that he smote them like with a plague, it made me think of like how now with flesh and stuff in the meat markets and the grocery stores and stuff, y'all, don't it seem like every few months there's like a disease with chicken, turkey, beef, like you deal with E. coli and salmonella and all this stuff, and I'm thinking like that is the Most High still to this day plaguing people that are eating this flesh, going against his dietary law. You're gonna eat this, you're gonna get this disease, you're gonna get sick from it. But go ahead, I'm sorry. I just thought
No, I was just doing a capstone on that Numbers chapter 11. Basically, y'all see what happened. The people wanted flesh, and they was crying so bad that the Most High was like, I bet y'all go get some flesh. And he so gave them a buku amount of flesh, and they were eating it so much that they died with it in their mouth. You feel what I'm saying? So boom. Then after that, after this thing, this is when the Leviticus 11 law came about, y'all. Cause Shemaiah was like, well, since y'all Negroes so hard-headed and y'all got hard hearts, y'all want flesh so bad, we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna just go ahead and give y'all flesh, and we're gonna divide it between the clean and the unclean. Now that's one narrative. The other narrative is when you go read the Epistle of Barnabas, chapter 10, it talk about Leviticus 11 when he told you not to be eating swine, not to be eating you feel me? You know the things that we say, the crabs, all this and that, the hares. The Epistle of Barnabas said that was applying to men. Those are spiritual characteristics of men, not to be with or eat with or be around people who act like pigs, not to be around people who act like rabbits. You feel me? Who people who chew the cud and people who don't chew the cud. You know what I'm saying? These were spiritual characteristics of men. Now check this out. The reason why you know animals sometimes represent men is because check this out. When you go read Acts chapter 10, when Peter had that vision and them animals came down on the neck and he was like, Father, I ain't never ate nothing unclean or common. You feel what I'm saying? That same vision that he had was talking about him dealing with the Gentiles. Sometimes animals are a representation of men. So when it come down to Leviticus 11, when Negro Israelites be like, bro, how you gonna tell me to not eat no animals when we got Leviticus 11, the dietary law? I turn around and tell them the dietary law is Genesis 1:29. That dietary law you got in Leviticus 11 came from the hardness of your heart. And on a spiritual level, that was talking more than about you putting your mouth on flesh. That was talking about knowing what type of people to deal with and not to deal with, according to Barnabas. See, we got the story of Paul, but we ain't got the letters of Barnabas. You feel what I'm saying? And they hid them for a reason too. But on the real, see, with that being said, we got to understand also when we dealing with animals. When we dealing with animals, hold on real quick. Okay, we got Irene the thing. So listen, when we dealing with animals, we got to understand scientifically what they're doing to us. Not only the fact that we killing them, what happened when they die. You feel what I'm saying? That they cortisol level and adrenaline go up in their body. Now you eat these same negative hormones and you got an overproduction of anxiety and depression in your life because you eating these animals. Scientifically, you got transferred energy. And spiritually, you got transferred energy. So we got to have regard for life. All right, you got your sword? Go to Proverbs 19 real quick. We're finna show you about just having, matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs 12. You gotta have regard for life for these animals, bro. Like when they talking about sacrificing a poor little sheep that ain't did none to nobody for the sin of another Negro. This man that did all kind of craziness, but he think because he finna go slice the neck off a goat and slice the neck and let that blood drain from a little sheep. You feel me? That ain't did none to nobody. He had no sin. He think that's righteous. You know what I'm saying? But you killed somebody's son, somebody daddy, you feel me? Or anything, nephew. These animals got lives too, y'all. We gotta have respect for them. Go to Proverbs 12, read verse 10.
A righteous man regarded the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel.
A righteous man understand and regard the life of his beast. And that's a precept. So guess what? In our righteousness, we got to understand how to treat animals. When you start reading the Gospel of Nazarene, the original, that's right, there's no cap. The original Aramaic gospel, then you start to see how Yahshua, he had a lot of regards to animals because they are the creation of the creator. But guess what? In order to respect the creator, you got to respect his creation. Imagine an artist create a beautiful canvas and you going around and picking and messing with it and you feel me, tearing that up. You disrespecting the creator. And this is what we doing to the earth. When you take these animals out to sea, the animals in the sea because they filtering out the sea. Now the sea get dirty. Then Mother Earth respond. She kick out a hurricane. Now you got tsunamis. You feel me? The earth responding to us because we are cancer to the earth. Every time we turn around, we doing something perverted. And perverted means you taking something out of its natural state. You feel what I'm saying? Taking crabs and lobsters out the ocean. Taking birds out the air that's supposed to be filtering the air. Every time a bird flaps his wing through the air, it's filtering the air. But guess what? These are some sciences that we don't have regards for because we don't have regards for the creation. Study the creation to understand the creator. Respect the creation to respect the creator. It just work like that. You know what I'm saying? Look, let's go to Proverbs 19 real quick.
Also, I have something to add too. Like, people are so used to taking. The earth has to replenish. You know what I'm saying? It's not natural to take. Like, first asking for permission. Like, even to the earth, people may think that's a little extra, but even asking the earth, like, for permission, like, you know, being one with the earth, being gentle as you're taking, but then giving it time to replenish. Like, that's just the natural way. Like, I saw on somebody's story earlier today, it was getting like green sea moss. It was in St. Lucia. It was green sea moss, purple sea moss. And I'm like, man, like that, and it was healthy. It was lush. It was just beautiful. And I'm like, that wouldn't be possible if they didn't let it breathe for a minute, if they didn't leave it alone. Even this one company I used to get sea moss from, like, they shut their sea moss production down for a while, like 3 years, because it was like, we need to give the ocean time to get back like what we're getting from it, you know. So it's people gotta respect it for real.
That's right. I'm glad you said that, because now that bring the wind and the spirit of what I'm trying to say too, having regards to life and the creation. And so that's why also the Torah talk about having Jubilee years and having Shabbats for the land. Every 7 years you let that soil rest. But in United States Corporation, on this land that they call America that they stole, we beat up the soil. Now the soil ain't got minerals in it because they don't let it rest on them 7 years. Now we ain't got minerals in our body. Then everybody and their mama got gone crazy because why? We lacking selenium, iron phosphate, gold, zinc, potassium, all these minerals that supposed to be in our bodies. Now we crazy. You feel what I'm saying? So it still hurt us at the end of the day. Yeah, sir. I'm glad you said that for sure. That. Look, Proverbs 19:3. Let's get that one precept.
The foolishness of a man perverted his way, and his heart fretted against Yahuwah.
So the foolishness of a man perverted his way, and his heart fret against Yahuwah. All it takes, basically what they're saying is a man's own folly ruin his life. You feel me? Us being in stupidity is what gonna take us out the game. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I got my pocket. I gotta show one thing real quick in Sirach. Oh Lord, what my?
That came to mind, like, there's a fine line between a reverencing type of fear and a fear that you brought on yourself through folly, as it pertains to the Most High. Like how it said, like you said, perverted, taking it out of its natural state. Your own folly will take your fear of Yahuwah out of its natural state. It's supposed to be a reverencing and type of love fear, not like a trembling and, oh my gosh, I got myself into this, so what's gonna happen next? Oh, I know I'm about to die because I just did wrong.
And a lot of our people in that state, for real, it ain't a respect for fear, like you say, a healthy doggone fear. But fear, at the end of the day, false evidence appearing real. You know what I'm saying? Whole time we got to get rid of that low level fear too. You know what I'm saying? Now your cortisol and your adrenal glands, they pumping, going crazy. And if your body in a state of fight or flight, that ain't perpetuating life. Next thing you know, you catching disease and you kick the bucket. You saying? Hey, for sure that we need respect fear. You feel me? A loving fear. A hava, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna go to Sirach 23. And I'm finna butt down on verse 6. One liner real quick. And 23:6, it say, let not the greediness of your belly, nor lust of the flesh, take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into an imputed mind. You feel me? That's what this red apocrypha say. Let me read this complete apocrypha. It's a different translation. Let me see. It say, let neither gluttony nor lust overtake me. Don't give me over to a shameless mind. So that one thing we got to be in regards to gluttony and lust. Lust just don't mean something sexual. A lot of people think lust means something sexual. Lust means anything you desire to the point of idolizing it, or what we call imagination that leads into demonic possession. like Clementine Homilies talked about. I ain't gonna lie, listen. Where we at? 6:55. Listen, we just not getting to the meat and potatoes, y'all. I'm gonna try to run through the meat and potato real quick because this way it get for real. That was just a pregame, you know what I'm saying? I just want to jump down on Acts chapter 15 real quick. Shakir, are you there? Most I bless you, man.
No, I'm right here.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Yeah,
so here, bro.
Yes, sir. So notice how we were speaking on Paul earlier. Now, if I go to Acts chapter 15, I don't know if the Op had spoke about Acts chapter 15, but when he was reading Galatians 1 and 2, I kind of put in the chat that Galatians 1 and 2 was Paul's story of what happened at the meeting when he had to check in with James and Justin and boys. That was the Acts chapter 15. But I just had to make sure you was cognitive right now because this kind of get into a little bit of Paul. Because at this meeting, at this time, Paul and Barnabas had to come check in. But y'all remember how Paul, he had his conversion on the road to Damascus, right? I'm gonna mention this. Paul got 3 different stories of this thing too. Like it's a lot of contradiction in regard to his conversion. And he was a self-appointed apostle. Nobody else called him apostle. He only called himself an apostle. So on his road to Damascus, 3-4 different scriptures. They all say 3-4 different things. You know what I'm saying? But this is his whole ministry hang off of what happened on his road to Damascus. Now, I liked the story of his road to Damascus because you can see how he ran into this Essene community. They the ones that nurtured him up. He was on the way to go kill him. You feel what I'm saying? But then he got the whole scenery got turned around. But anyway, after he left there, according to Galatians, he did not go to Jerusalem to go check in with the apostle like he was supposed to. He ended up going to Arabia. You feel me? So Paul started his ministry without the consent of the apostolic officiators. You know what I'm saying? And when I say apostolic officiators, I'm talking about the 3 pillars. The 3 pillars was James, the Sadiq, you had Peter or Kepha, Simon Peter, and you had John. These 3 pillars are the ones who were really running the apostolic 12 apostles. You feel what I'm saying? Notice how I said 12 apostles. Peter was not an apostle. You only way you get an apostle according to Acts chapter 1, you had to be with the Messiah from the time he got baptized to the time he went up and had his ascension. So you had to be a student just to even be around apostles. You only can have 12 apostles at one time, and out of the 12, you got 3 pillars. When you break down and understand the template that the apostles were built off of, the Essene community, it was always like that: 12 legislation and 3 pillars. Anyway, long story short, when Paul ended up coming to go check in with these boys 3 years later, he finally was like, man, I gotta go check in with the apostles. You know what I'm saying? Although it was a lot of contention and opposition. At first, the people who was with the apostles, some of the Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai Pharisees, they was like, we heard that boy up here telling these Gentiles that they ain't got to circumcise. So the meeting was called because Paul was telling people they didn't have to do the law, they had to do circumcision. Paul was doing that because he was trying to build his ministry up. He was making things palatable to the Europeans. Anyway, so he had to come check in. When he came to check in Acts 15, they were like, we heard you people doing this. Here come James, he stepped in, he said, boom, we ain't finna trouble these folks with no circumcision. We ain't finna do this, but we are finna tell them this. We finna tell them to not be putting their mouths on no animals. We finna tell them to not be strangling animals. But look, we finna go ahead and read that. Hey, that's enough of me talking about it. Look, Acts chapter 15, and I'm gonna read it because I don't know what her phone went out.
I'm right here.
Oh, you in the game? Come on, read that Acts chapter 15 real quick. Let's go to verse 20. We're gonna see about James giving the sentence. Y'all know that James, my bad, before I read this, I still gotta give more to the story. Y'all know that James is the big dog. Yeshua left people behind to run his ministry. That was Peter, James, and John. James was Yeshua's brother. These men was really with Yeshua. Paul never had met Yeshua. You feel me? He said he met him spiritually. But check this out. Everybody got to check in with the people that Yeshua left the ministry behind. Anyway, long story short, Paul ended up having more contention with these boys, and that's why it was a whole war broke out. You can see things Paul was saying that people who have long hair is ashamed. He was talking about James and them because they were Nazarites. They had long locks. Also, he talked about people who ate on the vegetables. They was weak. He was talking about James and them because they didn't eat flesh. Also, you can read Timothy 4 when he said that people coming up with false doctrines of telling people to abstain from meats. He was talking about James and them. Them was his only ops, and I can show that throughout so many scriptures. But my question is, y'all, who do you figure had the real authority? The people that Yahshua left behind, or some dude that popped up out of nowhere and said that he had the keys? Now, I do believe Paul was a very intellectual man, y'all. He was well studied. He went to the best schools, y'all, because he had a connection with the Herodians, and the Herodians had connection with Julius Caesar based off of Herod's daddy. That's a long story. Let me stop. I'm tripping. I'm finna go into the whole Paul story, and I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready to tell people yet. Well, I'm not. This is not what we're talking about right now, basically. Anyway, Yahshua, like you said, Yahshua word hold weight. So my whole thing is I pay attention to the people that he left behind. But we notice in Christianity, when we read the New Testament, we got 14 epistles from Paul. We only got 1 epistle from James. The Roman Catholic Church, they didn't have regards for the disciples, the real apostles. They put Paul on the forefront that's a whole nother story, man. Listen. Hold on. Let me see. I gotta see what you said, Shakir. Yes. Paul was a part of the synagogue and saying that I can prove that. I promise y'all I'm not kept with y'all, and I know that's controversial. He was also a part of the Nicolaitans, that the Most High said he hated. This comes from a white boy named Nicholas, and he was at Antioch. Remember that Antioch is the same place where Paul and Barnabas was building their ministry at. The Most High said he hated the doctrine of the Nicolaitans. When you go look in the interlinear and see what the Nicolaitan doctrine was, it was the doctrine of eating anything that they wanted. This is the same doctrine that we see to this day. This same doctrine that Paul was pushing in 1 Timothy 4, 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. So many things, y'all. Listen, it's deep, y'all. Check this out. But anyway, right now we at this meeting when he had to check in with James, and James said this. Read verse 20, all right?
But that we write unto them that they may abstain from pollutions of idols.
19. Let's get that verse before it.
Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which were from among the Gentiles are turned to Yahuwah, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood.
Stop real quick. I want somebody to answer this. What do it mean by pollution of idols? What is pollution of idols? Anybody?
Too many of them? Too many idols? Like they had a lot of idols?
Yeah. So notice he said that they abstain from pollution of idols and from fornication and from things strangled. So listen, Ira. Check this out. Go down to verse 28. We finna see what he meant by pollution of idols. Read verse 28 and verse 29. He gonna reiterate what he said, y'all. He gonna say it in a different way. This James speaking.
For it seemed good to the Ruach HaKodesh and to us to lay upon you no greater burden than these necessary things, that you abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from
Stop real quick, all right. I just want to hit on that part right there. Remember, I said pollution of idols. We'll see it in verse 29. He said it, that he abstained from meats offered to idols. Remember, 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. You can eat these as long as you don't ask questions. Remember, Daniel, he asked questions. He said, no, I'm not finna partake in it because I already know what's up. You feel me? I ain't even got to ask y'all. So, pollution of idols. Matter of fact, my bad. Read 29 one more time, all right?
that you abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if you keep yourselves, you shall do well, fare you well.
So what he mean by from blood and from things strangled? You see what I'm saying? You gotta strangle animals. Just the people handling animals wrong. Go ahead, Celeste, my bad.
And also, I read, I can't remember what the scripture is, but it was talking about like we do not consume blood. Blood is where the life is. And I'm like, these people up here eating meat, the rare, medium rare, they love to see that blood in it. And it's like, once again, be for real with yourself. Like, you cannot be for real and see that blood on your plate and be like, oh yeah, this is perfectly fine. Whoop-de-doo. Like, you're living in a fantasy world. You have to be.
The crazy thing about it, it's a lot of our Torah practitioners. Hebrews will argue you down, just like Christians would when you try to take their meat away from them. Now, the thing about it, they know that you're supposed to be eating blood. They go around, they still go to Walmart, go buy some doggone ground beef with blood sitting in it. The scriptures say that you're supposed to pour the blood down the ground and cover it with dirt from the animal. Not to have it packaged up in no ground beef that they threw horses in with the grinder too. Then you turn around, you bring it home. All you did was warm up the blood. Talking about, I cooked it out. No, you didn't. You warmed it up. You ain't got rid of the blood. But go ahead, Celeste.
Yeah, no, I was finished. I was finished. I'm just like, you can't make that make sense. Like, we're not supposed to eat blood. That's where the life is. And even like people say, oh, white meat. White meat is fine. In that package, I still be seeing blood. Ain't no way. And even so, if you don't see like a big part of it, there's blood vessels within it. And there's multiple videos like on the internet I've seen of like a chicken breast moving. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? It has blood vessels. Like, there's still life force in there. But I'm done.
And I'm glad you said that, because even on to make things worse, blood is created in the bone marrow. You feel what I'm saying? So it's still blood, a lot of blood in that thing. Listen. So Paul told these boys, he said, listen, right now, we're not gonna worry about telling them about circumcision. He telling Paul this. He said, in this meeting, we're gonna just drop the circumcision thing for right now, but at least go tell these people to not be eating sacrificed animals or idols. You feel me? And we're gonna talk about what sacrificed idols is. But then Paul turned around after James told this man to tell these people this. Paul turned around and wrote to the Corinthians. He said, eat whatever you want, answer no question for conscience sake. Matter of fact, real quick, let's read that, y'all, before I go to the law, because I want to show y'all in the law where you're not supposed to be eating these animals, especially not right now. You feel me? Especially not right now. But look, go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 25 real quick, all right? Let's see what Paul said in response to that. Hard, he was kind of hard-headed for that, y'all. But he know he'll post it. Like, it's an order to this, y'all. We can't just go. And I feel where Paul coming from, bro. He felt as if, why I gotta answer to anybody if the Most High is a spirit? That's what Paul felt like. But what he don't understand is everything is an order to it. When you dealing with the Essene community, the Nazarites, you had to be sitting at your kneecaps being a student of these Sadiq or righteous ones before you can even, like, you feel me, step to par. It's a process to everything, y'all. You don't come out your mama's stomach eating foods like you do. It's a process to life, period, y'all. Yes, sir.
All right, verse 25.
Yeah, verse 25. No, I just said a ball meant to roll down here.
Whatsoever.
It's an order, a command, a change. Go ahead.
Right. No, my thing, like, I think it froze up, so it was like delayed. All right, so verse 25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Keep going.
Am I just getting verse 25? For the earth is Yahuwah's in the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and you be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for conscience sake. But if any man say unto you that is offered in sacrifice.
My bad. Listen. So he go on to say that, but if you do find out that it's sacrifice, then don't eat. But the whole point that he told you to eat and don't ask no question, what kind of childish games is he playing, y'all? Imagine if you did not ask questions and somebody laced you. Now you gotta suffer the consequences. You feel what I'm saying? But people been lacing us with sacrifice animals. You feel me? And we gonna show what it mean for pollution. Scary games right there for show that. We finna go to the law and show you what a pollution of an idol is, what sacrifice meat is. Let's go to Leviticus 17. That's right, Shakir.
I was
That's
just about to say that, what Shakira is saying. Like, if Paul, most of his ministry was, grabbing hold of the Gentiles and the other nations and everything, for him to be saying, like, questionable stuff like that is concerning because, these people, you can't just be like, oh, yeah, you sugarcoating everything and, like, making excuses for these other nations. Like, you either in the covenant or you're not. Like, you're going to do everything that we're doing, You need to be fully obedient. It's not oh yeah, you can just do this and it'll be fine because you're not the blood Israelites. They have a different law. No, it's one law.
Right. So that's exactly why many times you can read how Paul was saying, man, I ain't lying. You feel me? Like, I'm not lying. I lied that. I'm telling y'all by permission. I tell y'all by consent. You feel me? So check this out. He had to keep saying he was lying because as many times he would write these letters to the Corinthians and he would write his letter to the church of Galatians and Ephesians. Other people was hearing from the real top dogs, the real apostles that what Paul was saying, like he leading y'all into a burning house. He capping with y'all. He just trying to get y'all mustered up and gassed up so he can build his ministry. He was trying to make it easier for y'all. So that was the people also hearing from the apostles. And they questioning Paul himself. That's the point of why these letters were written. People think that Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, and Romans, they think this is scripture. No, it's not. There are nothing but letters. Paul was writing letters to his people that he was trying to build his ministry with in Corinth, which is the city in Greece. And these letters was him in response to what the real apostles was holding account on him as for. You feel me? So they was holding Paul accountable. But Paul was turning around like, man, listen, why I gotta listen to y'all like this my ministry? And I'm finna tell these folks, you feel me, do what I got going on. Also, when Paul also was talking about the letter, I can't remember what chapter it is, but when he was talking about the letter, a lot of people think that when he was saying the letter, he was talking about the old law. No, he was talking about letters of recommendation. During that time, if you were saying that you were preaching the gospel of Mashiach, you had to get letters of recommendation from the 12 legislatures, which is the 12 patriarch apostles. You know what I'm saying? So Paul was saying that he know that he wasn't getting letters from the 12 apostles, but he said he have no regards for the 12 apostles. If you read Galatians chapter 2, Paul was straight disrespecting these boys. So that's one of the debates that was really going on. You feel me? And like I say, James was calling Paul a liar many times. So the debate was between them boys. James the just and all the 12 apostles, and Paul, who came up and called himself an apostle. The debate was because about flesh. It was about the whole Nazarite movement that the apostles was running under. But they didn't get this from nowhere. We finna go to the law and show you. Leviticus 17. Let's go to Leviticus 17. You got something else?
I was gonna say Leviticus. What's the verse in 17?
Actually, we're gonna have to read Leviticus 17 from the top, and yeah, it really the whole chapter, all the way to verse 15, 1 through 15, actually.
Okay.
I want to make sure, like, we get the fullness of what's going on.
All right. And Yahuwah spake unto Shemaiah, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say unto them, This is the thing which Yahuwah have commanded, saying, What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or that kill it out of the camp, and bring it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, to offer an offering to Yahuwah before the tabernacle of Yahuwah, blood shall be imputed unto that man. He hath shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people.
Stop real quick. Stop real quick. What going on right now? He said, if anybody kill any animal and don't bring it to the temple, to the tabernacle door, for them to do their ritualistic practice on it, that it's a consequence behind it. You're gonna be cut off from the people. Why? Because that's considered a pollution of idol. If it's because any animal dying is a sacrifice. If it died for you to put your mouth on it, that is a sacrifice, whether you recognize it as a sacrifice or not. So when these slaughterhouses, them still sacrificing, but they them is temples of Baal, and we can show that too. I used to work at a slaughterhouse, working at a temple of Baal. I ain't even know it. So listen, these is still sacrifice. If you kill any animal and you don't do what Leviticus 17 say, watch this. Let's keep going. Verse 5.
To the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they offer in the open field, even that they may bring them unto Yahuwah, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, and offer them for the peace offerings unto Yahuwah. And the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar of Yahuwah at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and burn the fat for a sweet savor unto Yahuwah. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations.
Stop real quick. Stop. Notice how I said it's a statute forever throughout their generations. Have the generations stop, y'all? Ain't we Israel? So check this out. If that being said, where is your Levites? Where is your temple? And who is doing these sacrifices, these animals that these niggas smacking their mouth on for every Passover and every day? Going to the Walmart to buying their chicken and their beef and their ground beef and stuff. Who doing these sacrifices for y'all? Because notice in verse 7 it said, and they shall no more offer their sacrifice unto devils. Sacrificing unto devils is you killing any animal and you not doing what the law said. Now go ahead, Celeste.
And let's also remember, after the third day of something being dead,
right. That's in Leviticus 7.
Listen.
Listen, y'all. This right here is just surface level of us destroying, listen, what's going on in the world. For people who want us to be smacking our lips on doggone animals, for the doggone Passover, anything, you feel me? They out of line because they don't even know the law. And then, not to mention, y'all, I don't even fully agree with sacrificing, period. So really killing animals off the table for me, period. You feel what I'm saying? Because we ain't gonna be doing that in the new kingdom. But listen, go ahead. Anybody got anything to say before we finish this Leviticus 17 out?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Levitical priesthood, throw it in the trash, honestly. The whole priesthood, everybody in the trash, because so you know my favorite scripture in Hebrews, talking about Hamashiach. He's after the priesthood, of Melchizedek. There wasn't no sacrificing and bloodshed and eating the flesh and anything like that.
That's right. That's right, bro. So look, hey, read these next few verses, all right? Let's go through them real fast because we got to read Leviticus 7 real quick too.
Verse 8, and thou shalt say unto them, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or the strangers which sojourn among you, that offer a burnt offering or sacrifice, and bring it not into the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer it unto Yahuwah, even that man should be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourn among you eat blood. It said right there. And whatsoever man of the children of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunted and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust. For it is the life of all flesh, the blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, you shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh, for the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth shall be cut off. And every soul that eateth that which died of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be of one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in the water, and be unclean unto the even. Then shall he be clean. But if he wash them not, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity.
Real quick, notice how it mentioned that animals that died of itself. Listen, y'all, I used to work at slaughterhouses. Boy, I'm really from the country in Alabama. Stop playing. Listen, I know Negroes. They is not finna waste no money. If an animal died from some kind of sickness or just died, period, they still processing that thing. Imagine you at Publix in Whole Foods or whatever you at. You buying this flesh. Some of their flesh done died by itself. They really unclean. You know what I'm saying? But you still putting your mouth on it. And you having no regards for what's really going on. What happened with that animal? You know what I'm saying? Anybody got anything to say real quick?
Like, oh my goodness. Once again, like you, at this point, is most people who call themselves Israelites, it is become a religion. They want, like you said before, they want to call it a culture, but they really made it a religion because they inserted so much of their own doctrine in it, and they want to be so right. You ain't always got to be right. It's okay. You ain't always got to be right. Like, literally, these words are so plain and clear. And, like, they'll go back to the Torah. They'll go back to, tell everybody, yell at people on the street, go to Deuteronomy 28, go to this, go to that. Leviticus is right there, too. Don't miss that. Let's go back to the first. Let's go back to the beginning. Genesis 1:29. That's in the beginning. Like, you can't miss this stuff. Like, you can't miss it.
Right. I mean, but you can miss them when you got that strong delusion or you got some kind of enchantment. Like, whoo, people under spells, bro. Reading what they want to read. Spell that word, they under spell, bro. Listen, y'all, let's real quick. We ain't got to read the whole Leviticus 7. We can go to Leviticus 7. I'm going to read 11 through 15. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read Leviticus 7, 11, 15 through 15. Now y'all got different types of sacrifices and burnt offerings. Y'all understand that you got peace offerings, you feel me? You got voluntary offerings. You got burnt offerings. Now burnt offerings, they was wholly burnt, like in its totality. You feel me? You weren't never supposed to eat no burnt offering. But peace offering and voluntary offering is usually what happened when somebody wanted to eat some animals. Now, so you can see instances where Abraham and Noah at one point, at first Noah wasn't eating animals, especially on the ark. You feel me? But at one point you can read in the Torah how they had 8 animals, but notice that the word was asa. They had to make an altar. So that means if you want to go by that, and you really want to smack your mouth on some animals, you gotta make altar. You gotta do it sacrificing to the Most High. And if you want to be technical, according to the Torah, what we reading here, you need a priesthood set up. You know what I'm saying? Also, what we finna read in Leviticus 7, it's an expiration date. You can't eat an animal past 3 days old. And then in one instance, you can't eat it past 2 days old. And then another instance, like Passover, you can't eat it overnight. When the sun rises, that animal need to be gone. Also, on Passover, Exodus 12 say that you got to get a he lamb at the first year with no blemish. How many people in all these camps and congregations got an actual he lamb, a 1-year-old little baby lamb with no blemish on it, then turned around and burnt them and cooked them from his head to his ass, then turned around and ate the pertinence thereof, because Exodus 12 told you to eat the pertinence thereof. That means eat the intestines. How many Negroes do y'all know actually ate the intestines of these lambs for Passover, since they think they doing Passover, y'all? All right. But they'll tell you to eat the lamb on Passover. They don't really understand the fullness of what Passover got going on. Listen, we're going to get into that too, y'all. I'm finna read Leviticus 7, verse 11. So Leviticus 7 and 11, it say, and this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offering, which he shall offer unto Yahuwah. If he offer it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cakes mingled with oil of fine flour fried. Besides the cakes, he shall offer for his offering leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offering. And if it shall, and of it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for a heave offering. unto Yahuwah, and it shall be the priest that sprinkle the blood of the peace offering. Ain't nobody got no priest out here sprinkling no blood. Verse 15, and the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offering for Thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning. So guess what? So if you eating it the same day, it was offered or killed. When you go to Publix, you go to Walmart, you go wherever you go buy your meat at, the flea market, the mall, East End Mall. Listen, you go to dealers and buy your meat, whatever you buy them at. That meat been in there for a buku of days, y'all. Stop playing. Not only that, because they not finna waste no money. They go in there and throw fresh blood in there to make it look fresh again. Hey, you got videos on that too. Know what I'm saying? So now you eating old expired meat. They're for the ones who believe you supposed to be eating meat. Well, if you're going to eat meat, you got to do it according to the Torah, right? All right. Look, verse 16. But if the sacrifice of his offering be a vow or voluntary offering, it shall be eaten the same day that he offered his sacrifice. And on the morrow, as the remainder of it shall be eaten. But the remainder of the flesh of the sacrifice on the third day shall be burnt with fire. So now, look at that expiration date there. It can't go past 3 days at the max, y'all. Know what I'm saying? But that's now check this out. I'm gonna show you an instance of that. I'm gonna go back to my apocrypha real quick. I'm gonna show you how an instance where people understood that. To the ones who want to put their mouth on meat and think we supposed to be eating meat, you in subjection to what the Torah say, just like Judas Maccabees and his daddy and them was in the time of the Maccabees when the Greeks was in there sacrifices on the temple, y'all. We couldn't use our temple. So the ones that went to the wilderness, since they knew they couldn't use their temple and they had priests with them that knew how to do altars and stuff, they still didn't eat the cattle that they had with them because they couldn't properly do it according to the law, y'all. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 5. I'm gonna go to 2 Maccabees chapter 5 and go ahead and show it to you real quick. This is a good example real quick. You know what I'm saying? And these is just a few precepts. We ain't even getting to the depths of it, y'all. It's so much I got to show in regards to this eating flesh. It's just a few precepts you can show somebody who think they finna come at you wrong about not eating animals. Well, if you gonna eat your animals, bro, if you believe in that, you need to be doing it according to the Torah. And actually, the circumstances ain't in your favor right now. So it sounds like to me, don't nobody need to be eating no animals. Cause ain't nobody got these circumstances set up for them. All right, boom. Verse 25. And even if you had all the temples and the Levites, and this and that, remember you got to be in the land to do sacrifices too, y'all. Then we can cut that down because most of them don't really want sacrifice. But 2 Maccabees 5 and I'm gonna do 24. 2 Maccabees 5 and 24. I'm gonna start there. He said also that the detestable ringleader Apollonius with an army of 2,000 commanded him to slay all those that were in their best age and to sell the women in the younger sort who coming to Jerusalem and pretending peace did forbear till the holy day of the Shabbat. When taking the Yahudis keeping holy day, he commanded his men to arm themselves. And so he slew all them that were gone to the celebration of the Shabbat and running through the city with weapons, slew great multitude. This during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, man. He was cutting up down there, y'all. A lot of our people were getting killed up. But look, verse 27. But Judas Maccabees with 9 others or thereabout withdrew himself out into the wilderness. You feel what I'm saying? Judas Maccabee, boy, they went to the wilderness. They weren't finna deal with this, right? And it say, and lived in the mountains after the manner of the beast, and with his company, who fed on herbs continually, lest they should be partakers of the pollution. So when they was in that wilderness, they said they fed on herbs continually, unless they be partakers of the pollution. What pollution is it talking about, y'all? You know what I'm saying? We just read about how you pollute yourself. The same way that Daniel didn't want to pollute himself. The same way that James told you not to pollute yourself in Acts chapter 15. You know what I'm saying? The same way we read in the Torah, Leviticus 17 and Leviticus 7, how you pollute yourself with devils if you don't do it here. You know what I'm saying? But just to back that up, to show y'all that they had everything with them. They had cattle and everything in the wilderness with them. but they didn't eat them. I'm finna go to I'm finna read real quick. 1 Maccabees 2:27. Anybody got anything to say before I read 1 Maccabees? Hey, I'm finna read 1 Maccabees chapter 2, and I'm finna show y'all how, yes, they did have their cattle with them in the doggone wilderness. Know what I'm saying? They had everything with them, but they didn't eat them cattle. Yeah, I'm gonna go down to verse 27. So Mattathias, which is Judah Maccabee daddy, y'all. 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 27. Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, "Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintain the covenant, let him follow me." So he and his sons fled into the mountains, y'all, and left all that they ever had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there. So verse 30, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased so upon them. So that showed that they had their cattle with them. But in 2 Maccabees chapter 5, it showed that they only ate vegetables unless they be partakers of the pollution. And we talked about what that pollution was, y'all. Yes, sir. But nonetheless, you know what? Nah. So check this out, y'all. In regards to the whole flesh eating debate, from what we went over thus far, that Leviticus 11, people say that that's a dietary law. That's not the dietary law. Dietary law is Genesis 1:29. That's the law. Because Malachi 3:6 say the Most High never changed. Now we got to be in subjection to that. Then we also learn how, because the lust and the hardness of our forefathers' heart, and they lusted after flesh, that we end up getting them quails that they died from. But not only that, soon after, that's when we got the Leviticus 11. But that was given to us by the hardness of man's heart. So now we're in a situation where the Most High been winking at us. I'm talking about all the way up into this time. He been winking at us like we babies. Like, oh, they ain't learned yet. Because we still putting flesh in our bodies. But now people starting to understand, and they spirit waking them up. It ain't no coincidence that a lot of us in Israel became plant-based. But also at the same time, a lot of us in Israel don't know the scriptures show that we supposed to be, that it's mandatory to be plant-based. They think it's more of a discretion. They just want to maintain their health. But if the spirit bold enough to show you that, then the spirit ain't telling you that for no reason, because the Most High do not want you putting your mouth on no animal backs and animal booty. They eating lamb booty meat sandwiches on Passover. Yeah, so this is the situation we dealing with. Then we just showed for the ones who do believe in sacrifice how and do believe in the Levitical priests and stuff like that, that if you are part of that, then it's laws that you got to be up under, and you don't fit that criteria to eat flesh right now under the law, the Torah. But I'm talking about the everlasting law, the eternal law. I'm talking about the law where you have regards and respect to everything that got life. So we can show how Isaiah chapter 1 talk about the Most High don't want you doing sacrifice. We can show Jeremiah 7:21 when Jeremiah said he never told our forefathers to sacrifice no animals during the Passover. We can show in Hosea chapter 6 how the Most High don't want you doing sacrifice. We can show in Amos chapter 5 how the Most High don't want you doing sacrifice. Hey, need I keep going? Because we can show you so many scriptures. This thing for real out here, y'all. Yes, sir. And we got scripture to back everything up. We not finna be making no claims that you not supposed to be eating animals and not have no ammunition to bust back anything you try to say. Cause everything we done already consider. We see the scripture. See the same thing you reading, but go ahead, Celeste.
Something that I have to keep reminding myself of is like, everybody is not supposed to get it. Like, I be having a mind to like explain myself, but it's like everybody's not supposed to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people's hearts have been hardened, you know, some people's minds have been twisted and, you know, seriously have chemical imbalances, so they're not gonna understand. And it's like it's a bit exhausting, but it's like having me having the mind of like, oh, it's okay, like, you know, everybody's not supposed to get it. I'm just gonna mind my business and do what I see fit for my life because I actually like this for myself. But then it just be them. Like, it don't be us trying to push them in their face. It be them asking questions, and it be them making all these statements. It's just like, leave me alone, please. I'm not doing nothing to bother you.
Right, and look, I agree with you, and that's why. Listen, that's why I tiptoe around like talking about this right here, because I know a lot. Well, people will get butthurt behind this, but check this out. This from me doing it right now is stemming from the situation that Passover coming up, and people know that, you feel me, I don't partake in flesh, so they'll pick at you. You feel what I'm saying? Kind of like what you just said. They say, well, what you gonna do for Passover? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do for Passover. What are you gonna do for Passover? Because according to Exodus chapter 12, you ain't did none of that. You feel what I'm saying? Moreover, Passover was a commemoration of unleavened bread, bitter herbs. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be sacrificing no animal or striking your dough with no blood. Also, if you messianic, what you doing killing the animal and eating the animal for anyway? If Mashiach supposed to be your Passover lamb. It's so many ways to attack that crazy doctrine. I'm talking about the reason why I'm tripping, because people are really mad at me and coming at me talking about, bruh, how you so-called plant-based and you not keeping the law? You don't believe in Passover? Yeah, I believe in Passover, but I can show you in Joshua chapter 5 in older translations. The first Passover that they had coming out of the wilderness, they had a bloodless Passover. They didn't have no lamb there. Joshua chapter 5, right before they went into Jericho. Yeah, in the Peshitta. Know what I'm saying? So get away. It's many instances where people were keeping Passover without having blood on their mouth and hands, like Isaiah said. Because this ain't the first time this doctrine be going on, or debate been going on, I mean. Because check this out. Like I said, you had many different groups. You had Pharisees, Sadducees, Zealots, Ebionites, Essenes, Nazarites, and Nazarenes. Them different groups all celebrated Passover in different ways. About 4 of them groups had bloodless Passover where they didn't kill no animal. The only ones that were killing animals was the Levitical Pharisees, because that's how they got money, y'all. That was $1 billion industry. Everything was going on at the temple. You feel me? People were doing their taxes there. They had the banks there. They had the hospitals there. Remember Yahshua, he went there. He flipped over tables and stuff like that. He was speaking to get their money. That's why they killed them. That was a political assassination, y'all. What you say, Celeste?
And what's the scripture about, like, they put the sins of the community on the animal, and then was it a goat? And then
the same goat.
And then it's just like, some people be eating goat. It's like, I don't know, if you would put that on an animal. I mean, we are supposed to respect the animals, but even so, like, even in that instance, like, if you're putting sins on an animal and sending it out, why would you want to why would you want to eat that? You never know if it's going procreating, and then next thing you know, you out in the wild like, oh, I caught a goat. You got that same goat seed that you sent out for your sins. It done came back to you in a different form, and now you're gonna eat it. You know?
They nasty, bro.
Not just that, but I feel like you're not even taking accountability for your sin. You just putting everything like on the animal.
Yeah. That it come down to that type of unrighteousness. And then you start to read how Nephilims and fallen watchers taught mankind, because of the Nephilims. You start reading how they was going around and eating up everything. They ate up all the fruits and vegetables. Then they said, what, ain't nothing left to eat but these animals. Now we finna eat animals. Then they ate up all the animals. And they started eating humans. Got into cannibalism. What's the difference? Like, if it's all about flesh, for people who eat animals like that, I'm scared to say that if you put a human in front of them chopped up just like an animal is, they'll eat that too. They ain't got no regards for that. They a step away from being cannibals.
And they did that during like slavery, right? Like the Europeans, they were like
on that,
roasting us and eating us,
right?
Like state dinners and stuff.
Man, the whole thing, boy. When you start paying attention and slowing down to that, that, man, eating any dead flesh, boy, is you see the wickedness in it. Like, this thing is barbaric and demonic. Can't lie. I'm so glad the Most High, boy, before I even knew this, like, I don't know why I started eating flesh. I ain't even, like, I promise y'all, I did not be like in my head, oh, I'm finna go vegan or something like that. I ain't never, listen, boy, I was enjoying flesh at one time. And then one day I woke up, I remember I had left work in the middle of the night. I went to the little gas station and got one of them nasty old wraps. And they had like turkey and kale in it. That was the last time I ate some flesh. Cause I looked at it and I said, man, what am I doing? Now, I had a seed planted in me when I was younger. I was in high school. I was stupid high. And I was sitting at the table with my dad, and he was stupid high. We were all looking at each other. Me, my brother, and my dad. High as on the way. And I look at the chicken he just put in front of me. And I had sympathy and empathy for the chicken. I said, boy was really alive at one time. And so that when it dawned on me, but I didn't start eating flesh at that time. But like, you feel me, when I got older, you feel me, one day, I just put it down. I cold turkey. And like, this was not something I was trying to do. It just, boy, I believe that was really the Ruach HaKodesh, boy. He really took that away from me, boy. Just like he took away smoking cigarette from me. Just like he took away drinking alcohol from me. And I was not trying to do this, y'all. I promise you, that's how I know, boy. The time, I think, boy, the most I was trying to, man, like, really put me in position to, like, be able to, I don't know, speak on these things, because I promise you, like, when I was in high school, like, my whole thing was just getting stupid high. And I think I had these revelations, too. I promise you, I was at a party, I was stupid high. And I was having low-key visions of me talking to people about not smoking, talking to people about not drinking, talking to people about not eating flesh. Like, I already had visions of these things, although I had no desire to not do it until I got older and I stopped out of nowhere. Boy, that junk crazy, man. Oh, boy, that thing crazy. But anybody got anything to say, bro? So then, we finna get ready to close this thing out.
You know what I memorized so far?
Uh-huh.
Avinu, Shava Shamayim, Yitkadesh Shemcha. I got that part so far. I'm almost there.
Girl, me too.
Hey.
I think that's the most valuable part, though. Sure. Your name be set apart. Our Father which art in heaven.
Yeah.
Your name is... Sure, I take it, because I don't even do the whole Adawan Palau. You know what I'm saying? I stop at your will be done. I be new Sheba Shemayin. Yika Deshem Kata of both Michael Teka. Yeah, say Razum Ka. Yeah, say Razum Ka mean your will be done. And I leave it like, yeah, you still got more to say. But for sure that sometimes I just say exactly what you just said. I be new Sheba Shemayin. Yika Deshem Ka.
Send it in the group chat, sir. Type it out or draw it out if it's in the language. I don't know.
Oh, don't forget to add me to the group chat, y'all.
Girl, I asked for your number in the chat.
Oh, hold on, let me put it in there.
Jay, so you said, so you ready? Okay, you ready to read the alphabet? I know you in, because you been in practice. You been going over your alphabet, right?
Hun. Aleph, Shin, Yod, the San, and I kind of like my memory. It was running one day. And it remembered the whole thing, but I was like, is that it? Or he just cut it off?
Listen, hey, check this out. Oh, you just did for East. I left your Shin. Check this out, though. I'm going to say this. Now, earlier I said Yaakov Hasadik. Let's see if we can show how the alphabet is involved with that word. For example, Sadiq. Anybody know what alphabet lead that word, Sadiq? It sounds just like the alphabet. The letter.
Samek.
Sadiq. Huh? Yeah, you're right. I heard Sade.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sade, what Sade means, Celeste?
I don't know. Sade. Is it S-A-D-E? Sade?
S-A-D. S-A-D-E.
Is it man on the side?
Yeah, dang, Ari, but y'all hear that?
Ari?
Bro, where you went to school at, bro? Educated. Yeah, so man on the side. Sadiq means just or righteous. And it's crazy that Sadiq is a man on the side. And a lot of people correlate that to being man on the side of the Most High. Man on the right side, you feel me? Also, in the paleo term, Sadiq used to mean a pathway up a mountain. You feel what I'm saying? And I guess I can see why you say upright too, right? That's right, Shakir. Sadiq, Zedek, same thing, righteousness. Melchizedek, Jacob Hasadek. Yes, sir. Listen, boy, the Hebrew come to life, boy.
I never did that connection. That's cool.
Yeah. For sure that. Yeah, we finna get into that prayer real quick. Let me see, we started, I don't know. Anyway, but let's go ahead and do it. So I can get ready to go to sleep and get my tail up, hit that roll, y'all. Yeah. Come on, let's do it. Let's see. I be new, Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh, Shemka, Tavo, Michael Teka, yes, Sarah, Zuka, and the Father send a prayer to Yahushua. I thank you, Total Rabbi Melech Haolam, for the opportunity to be in repentance in the land of captivity. I pray forgive me for the sins of my forefathers and for my sins, transgression, and iniquity. If I ever misrepresent you or have any malintent in my heart, Yahuwah, I pray for a clean heart and renew the right Ruach HaKodesh within me, so that we can be made in your image, for real, and be upright before you and be a good reflection of you. I pray that you continue to protect me, my family, and the ones we dwell with and build with and congregate with, and the ones we speak to on a daily, that when we speak to them, they receive the spirit of shalom, the spirit of Hava. I pray, Heavenly Father, that you continue to put a hedge of protection around us, put your Malakim HaKodesh and your Ruach HaKodesh within us, Malakim HaKodesh around us, that cap about us, and that we be in a mutual ministering with the holy watchers, and that we speak against and start eliminating the fallen watchers from among us, that we eliminate and be able to speak against wickedness, that we be in this war, that you send that you send Mikael to come fight for us, and that we have the righteousness of Melchizedek after the order of Melchizedek, and be able to have the girded up strength to fight this spiritual war, to go against all wickedness and perversion of the earth, that we restore the balance as your Kohanim, that we really be what the purpose of Israel is, the purpose of Hebrew to cross over to our spiritual man, the purpose of Israel to be the Kohanim, that we really be that, Heavenly Father, and we make intercession for the whole world and show them the Torah and how to be upright and conduct and say all these things. I pray through the Ruach HaKodesh, through your Yikadesh and Ka, praying to the Rabbi Melech Haolam of the whole universe. I pray, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Y'all G safe out there, man.
Yeah, man. Love y'all, man. Appreciate this.
Shalom, y'all. Blessings.
Shalom, shalom.
Man, bless up, y'all. Bless up.